Okay, we're learning Lilo Nishmat, right? So from it, Bas Chaim Alta, Neshama Seven Aliyah. Okay, we saw a brisa on Pei Dalit Amid Beis, different scenarios of Suffolk Nefashais, where a child falls in the water, or a child falls in a bar, or a child locked behind the door, and also a fire. You're able to go ahead and break down the door, dig a step, spread a trap to get the child out of the water. And the last thing was machbin umafsik, and you go ahead and put out a fire to your mafsik. So lamali and to Gemara dafilu chatzacheres. Even the child is in a chatzacheres or cut that can't get out of the chatzacheres, you're able to go ahead and spread and spread it out. We're on Pei Dalit Amid Beis. Pei Dalit Amid Beis. Okay, the next Gemara behooves us to go to Chaza Gemara that we had in two places. We have many places, actually, Chulin predominantly and Ksubis. We have a concept of Kol Kivua. Okay, we go after Rav, guys. We always go after Rav. Go after Rav. Achrei Rabim Lahatos, guys. Right? It says Achrei Rabim. You go after Rabim Lahatos to go ahead. What? And so Bezdin 2 versus 3, we wins. And then we extended that to Shishim. We said there's a concept of Shishim. Something is bottle b'Shishim. The concept of Roiv. We go after Bittul B'Roiv, right? Very good. Concept of Bittul B'Roiv. We got Bittul B'Roiv. We had the famous case of butcher shops. You got 9 butcher shops selling kosher meat and one selling treifa meat, or vice versa. What's the halacha? So we said if the suffix arouses in the store, you find a piece of meat in the store. So even if it's in the kosher store, it's kemetz samech, so you can't eat it. We're going to say it's like halfway. It's a suffix, whether it's kosher or not. Because any suffix that arises in a malkum kavua, where the place where it was set, then why we'll say it's kemetz samech. That's halacha. They've been psukim for that. However, kol de parish, anything that goes ahead and separates. So in other words, if you find the meat in the street instead of the store, then we go after roiv. Then you go after Rav. So if the majority of butcher shops are kosher, you go ahead and go after Rav. Majority of treif, then it will be treif. We're going to go ahead and take that concept and apply it to the halacha of being mefach and lev sagal. Going ahead, you have a collapse. Going ahead and clearing the collapse. We said that whether you know if it's a girl or if you know it's a guy, if you know it's a Jew, if you know they're dead, you know they're not dead, you know they're there, you know they're not there. In any case, Suffolk Nefashas lahakol, Suffolk Nefashas lahakol, and so with this din of Roy, with that Akdama, let's begin. We're up to the 2 dots, past the 2 dots, about 12 lines up. Amar Rav Yosef, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, lo yicholchu b'pikuach nefesh acha haroiv. When it comes to pikuach nefesh, right, we don't go after Roiv. So let's say you're in an area that you know for sure, guys, is Roiv Kutim. You know it's Rav Kutin, you will clear away the debris, even though the Rav says who's going to be there? A guy. Kuti here means a guy. Guys, you hear this? That even though the Rav says that man, that person underneath there is a guy, you will clear it away because that's what Shmuel says. Fascinating. So what exactly is the case? What? Vaday goy no. Vaday goy no. Vaday goy can't be Michal Shabbos. Can't be Michal Shabbos or Vaday goy. There's no. But only al sasaf. Even the roiv is a guy. Then we don't go after roiv. Hechi dami. Inema. Let's set up the statistical evidence here. Inema de ikatish Yisrael v'kuti echad. You have majority of Jews and one guy among them 9. We're using the 9-1. That's the butcher case, right? The 9-1, because that's the biggest extreme. So what do you mean? That is a roiv, right? So you don't need this halacha of ein hochel achar roiv. You go and clean it out anyway because roiv are Jews. So it must be inami palga upalga. If you're going to say it's half and half, suffik nefashas lahakol. We have a halacha of suffik nefashas lahakol. So that can't be the case where Shmuel said his din. Ella must be the ikatisha kutim. The roiv is kutim, the roiv goyim, the Yisrael echad. So ein holchim b'pikuach nefesh achar roiv. Even though the roiv states that the person underneath there must be a guy, you don't go after that. Says the Hanami Pshita. Why? Where's your suffix, guys? Kavua. Your suffix is what arose in a makom kavua. The chol kavua kamaksal machza. Dummy. So in other words, you don't have to come on to the din of ein holchem b'kuach nefesh achar roiv. Even without that, you're going to clear it away because any suffix that arises in a makom kavua is kamaksal machza. Good. So in other words, you have area A. In area A, there are 9 butcher shops and 9 trefa shops and 1 kosher shop. In area A, you have 9 goyim and 1 Jew. And now it falls down. So it's the exact same Mitzias, right? Kol kavua, when the suffix arises in a makom kavua, kamatzah matzah. So where are we going to apply Shmuel's din of ein holchim b'kuach nefesh achar roiv b'manav shach? If it's roiv Yisrael, you're going after roiv. If it's matzah matzah, it's kavua. If it's roiv goyim, and it's still kavua matzah. So what do you need Shmuel's din? It's like tzricha, you know what you need it for? The parish l'chatza acheres. You know what happens? You have 9 goyim, 1 Jew, and they go to area B. And then the wall falls down. So the suffix did not arise in the makom kavua, guys. The suffix now in the street. You left the kavua. You left the butcher shop. You left area A, and now you're in area B. And why do we say over there? Kol the parish, meruba parish. So the Rav would state that this is a guy underneath the pile. Kamashmal and Shmuel ain't holchem b'kuach nefesh achar roiv, and you're going to clean it away. We just created the mitzias of the case with the butcher with the meat in the street. That's exactly what we did. So the tema called the parish from Ruba parish. Guys, good? Guys, good? Okay, now, Ini, is it really so? Tisha kutim v'Yisrael echad ba'oisa chatzer mefachin. In that chatzer, if you have 9 goyim and Yisrael echad, in that chatzer mefachin. In that chutzah you do, in another one you don't. So what are you telling me that if they go to another place that you don't, you don't declare. So like kasha, hada parish kula, hada parish miktasayu. If parish kula, then you're going to go ahead and clear it because you know what? There's a possibility of a Jew being there. If part of them went, then Ken Zayin, you weren't machzik. There ever was a Jew in area B. Guys, you hear? What happened was, when do we say that even though you have 10 people, 9 goyim and one yid, that you're going to clear away? That's when when you were machzik, the yid was in area B because he came along with the other 9. But let's say 2 people left and they go in the area, and you have area A and you have area B, and you don't know who's under area B, right? Then you won't clear it away. Why? Because we're a machzik that the yid was ever there. That's the way to explain the discrepancy. You're telling me that Shmuel says, "Ein holchem b'pikuach nefesh achar roiv." You find a child that's abandoned. You find a child that's, What's your spec faker? So you're not cleaning it. You're not cleaning it. What's your specs faker? Where's your specs? But create the specs faker for me.
One that you don't.
What's the case? What case are you talking about? The last case we have miktsas or all of them. Miktsas, you don't clear it away.
Yeah.
You don't clear it away. Why should you? You never know there was a Jew there.
It's a specs faker. You don't know. Yeah.
What?
It's a specs faker.
Svex fake is the reason to be makel. Over here is the reason to be machmir. What's your svex fake here, Mendy?
One, you don't know if there's a Jew there.
And 2, and if there's a Jew there, what?
It could be that.
But how do you, again, there's no reason to think there is a Jew there. We have rule. You're being simach on kol the parish, meruba parish. You don't have a roiv. Suffix is Ken Zayin. Over here, we don't say Ken Zayin. Now, anyway. You find a child that is left, abandoned. Imroiv kutim, if the city that's closest by is roiv kutim, kuti. V'imroiv Yisrael, mechzal Yisrael. V'amarav, loy shonu, we don't say that word if roiv Yisrael, that is Yisrael, that there's a din, you should go ahead and nurture the child, support the child, give the child life, feed the child. To let, if it's a girl, to marry a kohen, that we won't. In other words, there's a limitation what the roiv would go ahead and state over here. So far, no question on Shmuel. Good. Now, Amar Aleph, Shmuel says, you will say that what? That will say that only because of Yisrael. Right, Yisrael, we will go ahead and clear away the wall. Mashma guys, mechza, right? If Rav Kutim, but Rav Kutim not. But 1 second, you just told me that ein holchem b'koach nech b'shachar roiv. Says Shmuel, guys, what halacha? Guys, look at me. Guys, what halacha are we going to apply the halacha of roiv? Right? We're going to apply the halacha of roiv vis-a-vis the din of Yisrael. Meaning, if roiv Yisrael, we will go ahead and clear away the wall if it falls on that child. Good. Good. If the wall falls on that child and roiv of the city is Yisraelim, we'll clear it away. What happens if it's roiv goyim? We won't. But why did Shmuel say, guys? B'koach nefesh ein holchen hachar roiv. So we still should clear it away. So Fred the Gemara, how can you tell me Shmuel says ein b'koach nefesh hachar roiv? You see over here Shmuel apparently saying what? You don't go after roiv. You do go after roiv. And for the Gemara, ki itmar the Shmuel's din, fellas, aresha itmar. Don't learn it on the case of roiv Yisrael. Learn it on the case of roiv kutim, right? Roiv kutim kuti and Amar Shmuel le'inyan b'koach nefesh einay kain. Guys, look back at the brisa. Look back at the brisa. 3 lines from the bottom on the base. But tanan matzah tinak mushloch roiv kutim kuti. If the majority of them are kutim, will treat this child as a kuti. On that, Shmuel says, aval le'inyan b'koach nefesh, we won't treat him as a kuti. Why? Because when it comes to b'koach nefesh, you don't go after roiv. So it's not a kash on Shmuel. It's mamish substantiate Shmuel. Guys, good? I know it's good.
By definition, on kutim.
Again, guy. They're using the word kut. I said guy. This is guy. This is guy. Again, the Mishnah used the word kuti over here. It means clearly it's a guy. Clearly, it's a guy. Look at the contrast. Right. Again, then it depends on which time. It depends on which time. There was a time in the Gemara where they held they were Geri MS, they were true Gerim, and there's a time in the Gemara where they were Geri Arroyos. They had talk about rat problems. They had lion problems, and they found on Harazesim, Harazesim, I think. They found a pigeon. They were worshiping birds. Okay, anyway. So anyway, the bottom line is, guys, Shmuel answered up. Now, Amar Shmuel, very good. Now, Imroiv kutim kuti. So again, guys, then according to Shmuel, guys, Firois, Imroiv kutim, says Shmuel, but not linyan b'koach nefesh. So the Inyan, what does Shmuel say? Pshat in that brisa. The first clause of the brisa was Imroiv kutim kuti. Therefore, Shmuel must learn what a pshat in kuti. What's pshat? So Amar of Papa lachil in avelos. If you can take him to McDonald's. In other words, if you find a child in next to a city that Roiv kutim, you can feed the child in avela. Imyav Yisrael. Now, continuing on, it says Imroiv Yisrael, Lamai Hilchasa, Lahachslay Avedasai, to go ahead and return an Aveda. You hear this? Go ahead and return an Aveda. That you're able to go ahead and return an Aveda. So if the majority of the city, guys, if the majority of the city are Yidden, are Jews, you could go ahead and return the Aveda. That's the din. Now this is a very, very interesting, because we have a halacha, Ein holchin b'mammon acha haroiv. We hold ein holchin b'mammon acha haroiv. Good. And what's this? Returning aved is dinei mammonis, right? And you are going after roiv. You're saying if roiv of the city are Jews, I'll return it, because you're not allowed to return an aved to a guy. Guys, you're not allowed to return an aved to a guy. Maybe al zdarcha shalom, but midaraisa you're not allowed to, right? I'll call aveda Al shor, al chamor, asev, al sama, al kol avedas achicha. All the avedas of your brother. your brother. So you now return the base. So it's a gavaldik rishonim, it's gavaldik kasha. Guys, you hear the kasha? You're telling me the reason you return it because Rive of the city of Jews, and therefore to return, I'll consider him a Jew, and you're returning the Aveda. But I ain't holchem bin momoin acha Rive. Enfid, I saw the teretz in Rabbi Yashiv Sefer. He says it depends. When do we say in holchem acha Rive? It's in the hands of the owner. Where it's hefker, then we don't say that. In other words, when the roiv to take it away from a chazaka that a person's holding on to something, that we won't go after roiv. But here it's found, it's in the street. There's no one holding on it. When there's no one holding it, then by moment you'll go after it. It's good svara, right? Roiv, you want to take something out of its rishus. We don't say that. But where there's no bilus, it's a lost object, then we won't go after roiv. Very good. Next halacha, mechza al mechza. If the city is half and half, we'll treat it as a Yisrael. I'm Reish Lakish, then Ezekiel. Okay, linear Ezekiel. Okay, guys, outside quickly. Let's do this quickly. Baba Kama. Guys, Baba Kama, right? Shor Tam. Goes the first time. Goes another Jew, pays Chatzi Nezek. Goes 3 times, it becomes a new Mu'ah, pays Nezek Shalim. If a Goy's animal goes you, he pays Nezek Shalim right away. Goy's animal goes you, pays Nezek Shalim already. If your animal goes a shor of a guy, you don't pay. So those 3 halachas. The din of Chatzi Nezek and Nezek Shalim only by 2 Jews. The din of Nezek Shalim only is by a guy shtasing a Jew. And the din of what? Of getting off the hook totally is if your shtais is a guy. So now, that's my halachas. So I'm Reish Lakish in Ezekiel. Linyan Ezekiel. Now, hechi dami. In aim of the nachri tur di don the tur di day, a Jew's shor got a guy's nicey raya, vinishkal. Let him bring me a raya that he's a yid. Fellas, we have a rule in Mammon. Again, we just spoke about bilus. If you were holding on to something, you want to take it out. Someone who wants to be mitzi from his friend has to bring a raya. So you're als roy, if you're a Jew, you want money from me, prove you're a Jew, I'll give you money. His shor gord our shor. So now, he should have to pay what? Nezek Shalem, right? If he's a guy. So Palga Yavle, if he gives him, and Idach Palga Nemele, I see Raya, the Lav Yisrael, and Nova Shakel. Bring me a Raya that I'm not a Jew, and I'll give you the rest. This guy Mechza, it's a suffix, right? So half I'll give you, and the other half, I'll Schatzi Nezek. In other words, I'm a Yid, I'll give you half, I'll Schatzi Nezek. You want to get Nezek Shalem? Go ahead and prove that what? That I'm a Goy, and I'll give you Nezek Shalem. So that's why Mechza, Yid. That's good? Okay, we said, Misha Naflo Alav Ma Poilis. And then if you look at the Mishnah, one after the other. Pay Gimel and Aleph. Where it says Gemara 3 lines up. Mishnah ma Poilis. Safik Usham, Safik Ein Usham. You don't know if there is not. Safik Chai, Safik Mason. If he's there, whether he's dead or alive. Safik Kuti, Safik Yisrael, whether it's a yid or a guy. Mefachim Levis Agal, Matzu Chai, Mefachim, B'Meis Yenichu, you leave him there. Okay? Says the Gemara. Why do you need all these cases? Mishnah ma Poilis, my comment. What is the Gemara saying? Lo mi boy comment. You don't need to tell me. Lo mi boy, Safik Usham, Safik Ein Usham. It's a Safik whether he's there or not. The Isa Chayhu, the Mefachim. Ela feel Safik Chai, Safik Meis Mefachim. Even if it's a suffix, whether he's dead or alive, you can clear it away. Flami boy suffix chai suffix meis Yisrael. I'll feel a suffix kuti suffix Yisrael mefachin. So it's lami boy kama. Matzu chai mefachin. If you find him alive, you clear him out. Matzu, but if you find him dead, you leave him there. Matzu chai pshita like tzricha bafil chai yisha. Guys, even if you see him, he's crushed up. The guy is, he's going to die, right? Even just to take him out for a few minutes alive, you're able to leave him mefachin sagal, even though the inevitable is there. The mace, and if he dies, Yanichu, you leave him there. If he's dead, you leave him there. It says Hanami Pshit also, he's muktzah. Like Tzricha El Rabbi Yehudim and Lakish. Tanya. Amy Tzinas and Mason dead. Like if you have a fire and you have a dead person, you can't go ahead and on Shabbos take the dead person out. I'm Rabbi Yehudim and Lakish. Shamati, I heard Shemat Tzinas and Mason, if they had Leka in front of the fire, you could. But why? Because again, we're worried the following. I feel Rabbi Yehudim and Lakish like Kamar, Elami Toshad and Boil al Mesai. A person is boil al mesa. He's worried about his mace. In other words, he may come to go ahead and put it out. If you don't allow him, when it's a gal, my islay lameva. What are you worried about? In other words, fellas, Rabbi Yehuda ben Lakish said the following. He said, if a person has a fire and as a relative, let's say, and the relative, the body is going to get burnt. So we let him take it out. It's only the Rabbanon, it's a tiltal, right? We let him take it out because we're worried that he'll put the fire out, which is a deraisa. Good. So therefore, we let him do that. Mashenkin over here, what are you worried about? There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing, no reason to take the child out. So even if you're Lakish, you leave it here. Guys, you want a good kasha? Guys, you with me? Great kasha. Are you allowed to put a fire on Shabbos? We said no. Why? Because what are you going to do? You're going to put it out to save your what? Your right. So over here, what are we worried about? If you don't permit, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put out the fire. And over there, what do we say? We say we don't let you. Here we let you do an issa because you're going to put out the fire. Over there, we don't let you do the issa. What's the difference over here? We let you do the issa, and over there not. So here's a one-shot deal, right? Here it's a one-shot deal. What do you got over here? You got a mace, right? So you're going to from mace, you'll go ahead, you'll put it out. Masha'en Kain over there, right? Why are we going to put it out over there? Because you have so much stuff, right? The longer you're going to hang around, we're worried you're going to put it out. So over there, we're worried you're going to put it out. Over here, we're worried you're going to put it out. But I didn't say the kasha the right way. I didn't say the kasha the right way. What? You have too many items over there. So over there, we say we don't let you because you may come to put it out. And over here, we're saying we do let you because you come to put it out. What's the difference? Because over here, it's a one-shot deal. So again, we'll let you do it. We're not worried you're going to put it out. Over there, if we let you start taking, there's so much stuff to take, you're going to come to put it out. That's the difference between the two. Okay, that was the right way to say it. Says the Gemara. Now let's say the person's under the pile. We said they're dead. How do you check? This is for dak. You check until the nostrils. In other words, you check to see if they're breathing. And others say a heartbeat. Now, let's say a building crashes down and you have top floor and bottom floor. If you find mesim on the top floor, don't say for mesa tachtainim. Because there was a mesa who matza al yoinim mesim, the ones on the top floor were dead, but tachtainim chayim, the ones below were alive. Nema hani tanoi kahani tanoi. Let's see the machloikis between the Manda Amar who says you go ahead and check from the nostrils, and the Manda Amar who says that what you check from the heart, right? There's a machlokas tanoim. This machlokas, the Tanya. Mehekin of Vlad Neitzer. Where is the Vlad created from? May Roisha. It starts from the head. Shnemar. Mimay ime atagoisi. You pulled me out from the womb of my mother. Mashma from the head. V'omer gozi nizreich vashlichi. You pulled your hair, vashlichi, and you threw me. Mashma from the hair, from the top. Abashol oimer mitiburoi. A child is from the beten, from the belly button. Umashlich shrosha of elech ve'elech, and its roots go ahead and spread elech ve'elech. Now, afilu tema abashol. So l'chayra, abashol would not be like what? Over here it's mashma chaytmei, right? So let's say that abashol would not hold of chaytim. He would only hold of heart. Says the word no abashol. Afilu tema abashol. I'd come like abashol hasam el inyan sira, only regarding the formation of a fetus. Everything begins from the middle. Guys, we had a machlekes earlier, but the world was created from the middle of the sides. I threw that by you. I told you I know what I was talking about. You remember it was like a silly putty coming from the sides, or it's coming from the middle, spreading out. Okay, I don't know what there. I don't know now either. But I'm saying bottom line is, but it's similar over here. Some machlekes where you begin from the middle. We met it. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's good. Says the Gemara. The is the one, the nostrils, the sieve, right? It says by Noach, anything that nishmas ruach chayim ba'apah was destroyed. So Amar Papa, machloikis mimata l'mayla. Machloikis is, guys, if you're checking mimata u'l'mayla, let's say you find the feet and you're working your way up to the feet, so you're going to pass by the chest first and then get to the chaytim. So this is chaytim, even if you don't find a beat in the chest that it's not legally dead till you go ahead and check to the nostrils. Whereas according to the other opinion, no, if you don't find the heartbeat, you don't have to continue up. Let's say you're starting, you find head first. and therefore you're able to check the nostrils. Even the one that says leiv would admit if you don't find breath in the nostrils, then what? That the person's dead. The chsiv kol shnishvas ruach chayim ba'apav. Now, Bisman has said a much more sophisticated means of ascertaining what's the end of life and anything. You have to take that into account. I mean, the Ramesh has chuvas on this. Rabbi Shmuel, okay, very, very geschmackig Gemara, guys. The next piece of Gemara. How do you know that? Now, here's the key. Vadai pikuach nefesh is no shaila that you machal Shabbos. The whole shaila is suffik pikuach nefesh. Vadai pikuach nefesh, guys. We're not discussing. We're discussing suffik pikuach nefesh. We're going to have a few different opinions. We're going to ask on all those opinions, and they're all tanoim, gedolei tanoim. And in the end, we're going to pass on like Shmuel da Amora. It's a very fascinating Gemara. Fascinating Gemara. Says the Gemara. Ukvar choy Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Mahalchim b'derech, the Levi Hasader, Levi, the one who's misader things, or the Levi, the Aruch says Srad, he would go ahead, he would make begodim of Srad. Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, and Rabbi Shmuel, the son of Elazar ben Azariah, they're walking behind them. So the three Gedolim, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah were in front, and Levi Hasader, Rabbi Shmuel ben Elazar ben Azariah were in the back. Here's the shaila. You're makayim of lechlecha b'derech, right? Minayim lepikuach nefesh shedoiches Shabbos. How do you know pikuach nefesh, guys? Now I'm amending this, guys. Not pikuach nefesh, suffik pikuach nefesh, suffik pikuach nefesh. Nen Rabbi Shmuel v'omer. Now there's halacha. If someone's coming in a digging his way into your house, if you find them, you're able to kill them. It's called a bobe machteres. Someone comes by in machteres. That's the halacha of someone's coming to kill you, you kill him first. Okay, now in Machteres Yimatza Gan, if you find the Ganif in the Machteres, now Umazeh Shesafik al Mamin Ba, Safik al Nefashis Ba, it's a suffix. This guy is coming to steal, suffix coming to kill you. So this is a suffix Nefashis. Ushvichas Domnim Mitama Esaretz, and murder Mitama the land. And murder causes what? The Shekhinah to leave. Nonetheless, you're able to go ahead and kill that person coming in, even though it's a suffix why he's coming. What you're saying the following, guys. Madoch shvichas domim, which is more chomer than Shabbos in this matter, that it's mitama the land. Al suffix, you're able to kill to go ahead and pikuach nefesh, suffix pikuach nefesh, you're able to go ahead and save a life. So that was Rabbi Shmuel. Shmuel above Machteres. That was Rabbi Shmuel's then. And then Rabbi Kiva Amar. Rabbi Kiva gets his reason. It says v'chiyozid ish al reyehu me'im is b'chi tikach lamas. I didn't give the whole pasuk. What does the pasuk say? You have a whole pasuk there on the side. V'chiyozid ish al reyehu. Okay, v'hargu ba'arma, and he kills what? Take him off the mizbeach. So we're speaking about a kohen that killed. We're speaking about a kohen killed, and he went to do the avodah. Now, may is mechi tikach lamas, you take him with the mizbeach to die. May im is mechi before he does the avodah. Let me al mizbechi, but not when he begins the avodah. The murderer, if he begins the avodah, you let him finish. For Amar Rabbi Rav Chan, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, leishanu elo lahamis, only to kill him, we'll leave him. In other words, we'll let him finish the avodah. If it's to kill this kohen, we'll let him finish the avodah. Let's say this kohen knows. Let's say he knows Adis, fellas. He knows Adis that can save somebody. You know what we're going to do? In the middle of the avodah, we're going to go ahead and stop it. Now, is the avodah Dach Shabbos? Absolutely. Right? The common Talmud, avodah is Dach Shabbos all the time, yeah? So now, to say Adis, to save someone, afilu mi al misbechi. Umazeh shesafik yesh mamish b'dvarav safik a mamish b'dvarav. We don't know if his testimony is going to save a life. We're misupik, but nonetheless, what will we do? We'll take him, stop the avodah. V'avodah doiches Shabbos, kal v'chomer b'kuach nefesh doiches Shabbos. So you have two gewaldige garayas, either Bob Machteres or Rabbi Yishmael or Rabbi Akiva's din of what of a me'al misbechi. So it's a suffix whether he's going to be able to save a life, not save a life. It goes ahead as doichel avodah and avodah is like a Shabbos. So certainly suffix b'kuach nefesh is like a Shabbos. That's Rabbi Akiva's limud. Rabbi Shmuel from Machteres, Rabbi Akiva from what? From Meyal Mizbechi. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Nena Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah v'Amar, Uma Mila, she Echavi Masayim v'Arba Shmoina Avorim Sheba Adam. The Mila is one of 248 Avorim in a person. Doiches Shabbos goes ahead and is Doiches Shabbos. Kal v'choyim l'chol gufa she Doiches Shabbos. Kal v'choyim at the whole is Doiches Shabbos, right? Ma Mila we know is Doiches Shabbos. Only part of a person, certainly the whole person is Doiches Shabbos. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Omer, as Shabsosai Tishmoiru, my Shabbos you shall keep. Yochel l'chol, I might think for everything. You keep Shabbos. There's times you don't keep it. When's that time? Safek Pikuach Nefesh. So you have 4 pshatim so far. We have Bob Machteres, we have Me'al Mizbechi, we have Mila, that's Rabbi Elazar's din, and we have Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, right? Was he there? Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, he wasn't even there. He wasn't in there. He wasn't there. Interesting. Okay. So Rabbi Yosef Yehuda says that what achalak. Rabbi Yosef ben Yosef Omer, ki kodesh hilochem, Shabbos is right. He mesurul biyetchem, loyatem mesurim biyadam. Shabbos is given over to you, and if you need to go ahead and be mechalit, you mechalit it. Loyatem mesurim biyadam. You're not giving over to it. Rabbi Shimon Menashe Omer, b'shamru b'nei Yisrael Shabbos. The Torah says to keep Shabbos. Chil, and what do we say? In order to keep Shabbos, we'll say Chil of Shabbos achas kadesh yishma Shabbos is harbe. Go ahead and mechal one Shabbos to go ahead and keep a lot of Shabbos. Rav Yehuda Shmuel, Yehavi Hasan vibes there have Amina Didia Midu. I would have said better than them. It says v'chai behem. The Torah says v'chai behem, v'lo shiyamis behem, right? And not die for it. Okay. Amarava l'kulu yislu pircha. I have a kasha on all of them. Like on every single opinion, I have a kasha on. Right? Barbin the Shmuel, except Shmuel, the less lu pircha. The Rabbi Shmuel said, Baba Machteres, guys, Rabbi said it's a suffix whether he came for money, suffix if what he came to kill. Dilma Kidarava, Damarava, my time with the Machteres, why Baba Machteres can kill the person? Chazaka in other right? The person's not going to let yourself steal his money. But I made the yada the koila pay, and he knows the balabas in the house is going to go ahead and stand up. V'Omar I koila pay katlina le, I'll kill him. But Omar bol hagecha hashkem hagoy v'ashchin vaday suffik milano. In other words, the case of Bob Machteres is not a suffik b'kuach nefesh; it's vaday b'kuach nefesh. And as I said in my hakdama, right, we know vaday b'kuach nefesh is like a Shabbos. The whole kasha is a suffik. So Bob Machteres, he created a suffik. Suffik whether he's coming for money, suffik whether he's coming to kill. No, he knows the person in the house will go ahead and try to stop him. So he knows vaday is ready to kill him, and that's why you can kill him. So it's a case of vaday. We never asked for a case of vaday. So Rabbi Shmuel, your source is not such a good source. That's Rav's Kashan, Rabbi Shmuel. Now we have Rabbi Akiva, right? Rabbi Akiva. The Rabbi Akiva, who said Me'im Mizbechi. Now, what do you do Mizbechi? It's a suffix. What's the suffix, guys? Whether his testimony is going to help or not, right? It's a suffix whether his testimony is going to help or not. Dilma Kida Abaya, maybe like Abaya. Domer Abaya, Masrina Le Zugu de Rabbanon, Leida Imamish Midavarav, the Ashkin Vaday, suffix Minolan. Guys, you know the case? The guy's being taken out to be killed. There's the Paskin Misan him. He goes, 1 second, I'd be Malam D'Schus. We bring him back. When do you bring him back? Because you have 2 Talmidei Chacham who accompany him, and they hear what he has to say. Then they'll bring him back. So too over here, you know when you're going to take the kohen off the mizbeach and bring it to testify? When you have 2 Talmidei Chacham who hear what he has to say, then it's a vadai who's going to save the guy, not a suffix who's going to save the guy. We don't have a shaila by a vadai. We only have a shaila by a suffix. So therefore, what? Your case also. First, we take care of Rabbi Shmuel. Now we take care of Rabbi Akiva. We don't have a shaila by a suffix. We only have a shaila by a vadai. We don't have a shaila by a suffix. And the kula ashkin vadai suffix minol, and all of them ashkin vadai suffix minol. Let's see Rashi here. The ashkechin mamish parallel one line up. The ashkin meyachacha the avadai pikuach nefesh mechalin. All these cases you find vadai pikuach nefesh mechalel. Avo suffix loy shamina mine. You don't hear a suffix. The kulu nami could go in ach cholak iklanema. The vadai pikuach nefesh come in mayit. Maybe it's only in mayit, guys. When it says ach cholak eshishoshi tishmori ach, when it's vadai pikuach nefesh, but not when it's Safik pikuach nefesh. V'chein v'loy atem mesurim b'yada lamaves. Vaday. V'chein chil love kadei sheyishmar vaday shabbos harbe. You know when we will be mechal Shabbos when it's a vaday, but that's a suffix. So memela. So who's the only one I hear? Ishmael. V'chai b'hem. The Torah is given to live and not to die. Right. Who the Shmuel vaday less like percha. Shmuel is no question. Amar Avinu Yitim Rav Nachman by Yitzchak. Tava chada pilpela charifta. It's better one sharp pepper mimale tzina de curry than a basket full of squash. In other words, you have all these opinions, anoyim and everything, and then one sharp reason for Shmuel, and that's the reason. Okay, the next Mishnah is really the probably most famous Mishnah, the most important Mishnah in Masechta. I guess it pays to hold off on it, just again to give it the proper time. Okay, thank you all for coming and for listening.
Good, thank you.